Howdy, y'all. Well, let's do part 2 of this PCP rebuild. Basically rebuilding the regulator and just cleaning the gun and putting it back together, re-lubing it and stuff like that. Alright, so I have this little thing I made up here that I can simulate a tank instead of filling up a big tank or anything like that. And then I have this set up on here, and it'll tell me the output reading that we have coming out of the regulator now. So we're going to hook it up to my bottle. Make sure it's on there good and tight. Close the valve over here, the bleed valve. Now I only got like 3,500 psi in here, but it doesn't take very much for this little deal here. So let's crack her open a little bit. All right, so we got full 3,000 in here in this section, and we're putting out about 1,500, and that's about right. So the problem is the regulator starts getting sticky and it doesn't repeat very good, so that's the reason you have to rebuild them. Now, regulators, when you're trying to degas something, never degas this side of it when there's pressure on this side of it. And like right now, I could degas it right here, which would degas this, but that leaves pressure up here, which forcing pressure on the wrong side of the regulator, which will mess up your regulator. So got a little degasser over here on this side. Now I'll open the other side just to make sure. All right. So about 1,500 psi. That's what I thought it was, 1,500. I wasn't for sure it's 15 or a little higher. And I can't go much higher because, let me get this over here. This burst disc is only 1,800 or 1,800, 1.8K. You know, this is the tank side, which is at 7.5, because this regulator is designed for 4,500. That gun is engineered for that, but I have never filled it to that. I've never filled it more than 3,200. Okay. Let me get a couple things ready and then we'll take it apart. All right. We got our lube here ready. We've got O-rings over here. We picked up some. You can buy kits for these from Ninja. It has the O-rings. It has some shims in it. It has new screws in it. You really don't need the new screws unless they're messed up. It has a new seal for this end down here too. But I'm not running this seal on this one. On the output side, I'm running straight into my plenum. Alright, so got plenty of O-rings. That's just for replace those. These two will be on the regulator piston, and then this is for over here. for the bottle side. Now, I got these off of Amazon so I can get them here. Normally, which this isn't bad, this is pretty good. This is like 100 of them. That's a lifetime supply. And that's where I usually buy O-rings. Is I usually go to McMaster and buy 100 of them, but I really don't need that many. These were packs of 25s, which is going to be more than enough. I got other regulators that run the same thing, but anyway, all right. First thing first is we're going to take this bonnet out. Well, wait a minute, no. Now, this regulator is a adjustable regulator for position and timing. That's what this silver ring is for. When this screws into the when this screws into the lower part of the receiver, you don't know where these threads are in the threads that I put in it are at. So once it's locked in, then you can take these screws here and you can turn it to get it into the position you want. And obviously I wanted this pointing out the side of the stock. So what I done is I went and scribed me a line on here so that I can put it back together without having to time it on the gun. So first thing we're going to do is take these screws off of the bonnet here. And there's 3 of them. Now normally with the valve still in here, there might be some residual air in here, but since I don't have them, don't have to worry about that. This may be tight. I can't grab it. Hang on a minute. All right. I used a pair of pliers to grab it here and turned it. And take this off. Everything's looking good there. Here's your top part of your piston. Now this is very important when you take this apart. The stack up of the Belleville washers in here. Things can be a pain to get apart. There we go. I usually try to put it up like this. Okay. Here's your stack up of your Belleville washers. I always usually take a picture of these so I can make sure the orientation of them. Because you change those, it changes the output pressure. Second thing is the shims. There's shims in the bottom of this. And you can add, subtract from this to help change the output pressure. Since we're not changing anything, there we are. We got 3 different ones in here. With a total stack up of about 48 or so. See, we got it says 21 and a half, 22, and a 6. So probably Two 22s and a 6. That's what we got to stack up of washers. All right. Let's get everything cleaned up. Get everything, wipe all the old grease out of it. Cotton swab works great because you can see if there's any grease on it. That looks pretty good. Now these Belleville washers are a little tricky. Or not. These O-rings are a little tricky because they are 90 durometer polyurethane, so they're pretty tough. All right, I'm going to do is on this particular one is I'm going to cut it off here. Be careful, don't scratch your O-ring groove. Yeah, it looks like it can come off there pretty easier than I think. At least the bigger one is. Make sure you get all that old grease off of it so it won't cake up on you. Still see some in there. That fits just right down in there. All right. You say you only need one. You get a pack of 25. You'll be set for a while. I think I got 2 other guns that run Ninja regulators, I believe. I know one for sure. And we're going to take some of this Ultimox 226. You can get the dial equivalent of it if you want. Lube that up good. All right. Now this little one is really tough. We're definitely going to cut it off. Everything is hard to cut. This is where you need 2 hands, 3 hands. Get my O-ring pick out from underneath it. Now you got to be careful now that your Belleville washers, because this is where you can sling them across the room. And that's the reason you need to know the stack up on them in case it does happen. Now sometimes you need to replace this whole piston because it does have a seal at the bottom. If that goes out, then you definitely need a whole new piston, and that's where you'll have to get one from Ninja. But sometimes it's just the O-rings need to be replaced, everything re-greased. And so you can get a kit if you want to. They look like they're totally different sizes, but they're not. It's the correct size according to Ninja's website. I'll make sure I get some more of that on there. I like to make sure it's good and lubed. Replace that right back in there. Push in until it seats. I'm going to screw our bonnet back on it. Make sure it's good and tight. And our alignments are right back where they should be. Anyway, close anyway. There we go. Put our set screws back in. All right. Go in here and grab this O-ring that's here. Now, I run an O-ring right here. And I use it as a dust cover kind of thing. They don't normally come there, but I stick one on it, and it is a, let me get it out here. It is a number 1770 durometer. I already have one sitting right here. A little lube on it. Oh, look at here. We forgot to put shims in. Oh, yeah. Always something, see? But I'll let y'all know these things. I don't edit films to make them look like I'm a good person, know every damn thing. This is what I do. All right. So we got to pull the piston back out. So y'all was watching me on the video and probably seen it. Hey, he didn't put them shims in. Drop the shims in. We're going to re-lube. Gonna make the video extra long because I didn't do something right. All right. Replace that. So now we need this 112 70 durometer. And that goes on your for your tank. All right, a little more lube. All right, that is rebuilt. So I do have a new gauge coming. This one's cracked right after I built the gun. It cracked, and I just have never changed it. I can read it, but I figured since I'm gonna have the gun apart, I'll replace that. But it's not here yet, and I still got to put the top O-rings on. There we go. All right, let's give it a test run, because it's a pain in the butt if you put it all together and didn't test it and something's not right. Close the bleed valve off. All right, let's see what we got. $500, $1,000, about $1,500, and we have 3,000 on the back side down here. Probably about 1,550 right in there. So that'll work. Now, yep, lots of threads on them. All right, that's it, guys. One rebuilt regulator. So we're going to end this video right here. And the next video will be reassembling the rifle. Thanks for watching.